I'm a big YouTuber.
I literally cover court cases for a living.
I'm gonna give you my ID.
I cover the court cases for a living.
Yeah, what up, y'all? Welcome to Crown TV. I am the Crown Prince, a.k.a. Mr. Anti-Goofy. You know what not to do in my comments. Shout out to the Anti-Goofy gang. We on our way to 20,000. We in the building. If you want to donate to the channel and you really gang, instead of the super chat, hit up the Cash App gang. All right, y'all, we back up in this thing, and we got some public service announcements to make real quick. Announcement number one is that us, you and I, the gang, the squad, we are officially on the Patreon. So round of applause for that. The second PSA is that there is not one bit, not one shred of content on the Patreon. So round of applause for that. But what there is on the Patreon from now on, after we do a video and there is paperwork involved, you will now be able to go to the Patreon for free and get that paperwork. So you will no longer have to send out emails to get paperwork shortly after the video is done. You could just go right onto the Patreon and download the paperwork. No correspondence needed. But since you're there already and everything like that, if you want to join the Patreon and support the channel, go ahead and join the first tier. It's $2 per month. It ain't gonna hurt you. You got all that money. You might as well spend it. Now, on to the news, people. We finally have a legit update on Roland Martin, a.k.a. Murda. This update comes in the form of a sentencing submission from the government. Now, this is from the government, so this is not the defense arguing on behalf of Roe. This is where the government lays out everything they have against Roe, and we also get an official date for Roe's sentencing. The thing that makes this kind of interesting is the fact that it was all written after the trial of Harv and Nuke. So the language of this document or the contents of this document actually use the testimony from the cooperating witnesses against Roe. Also included in this document is the time that the government recommends, which if you've been watching, you know that the judge has been following by what the government recommends. This comes directly from the pre-sentencing report from the probation department. Now let's start with the offense conduct, and then we'll come back to the recommended time and the date of sentencing at the end. March 20th, 2018. It says, on or about March 20th, 2018, the defendant and other members of 9Trey, including Kafano Jordan, a.k.a. Shotty, Daniel Hernandez, a.k.a. Tekashi 6ix9ine, Denard Butler, a.k.a. Drama, and others, traveled to Manhattan to wait for a member of another blood set, individual number one, who was providing protection for another rap artist. The defendant remained with the others for a while, but eventually left the scene due to his curfew while on New York State parole. As individual number one exited a building in Manhattan, individual number one entered a Sprinter van. Hernandez, Butler, and another person were in one car. Jordan was in another car, which pulled alongside the Sprinter van, and Jordan shot approximately 5 rounds into the side of the Sprinter van. April 3rd, 2018. On April 3rd, 2018, the defendant and others traveled from Brooklyn to Midtown Manhattan in order to rob a rival gang member and rapper who was in a public feud with Hernandez. The defendant traveled with Genzel Butler, a.k.a. Ish, and Denard Butler, a.k.a. Drama, in one car, while Hernandez, Jordan, Fahim Walter, a.k.a. Crippy, and a cooperating witness traveled in another car. Once the victims entered the lobby of the building, Jordan and Walter ran out of the car and confronted the victims. They were quickly joined by the defendant, Denard Butler, and another individual. Jordan was holding a pistol throughout the robbery. The defendant could be seen pushing the victims on both video surveillance from the building and a video filmed by Hernandez from a car parked outside of the building. April 13, 2018. On April 13, 2018, Mac, who we know as Nuke, robbed the defendant at gunpoint and stole the defendant's car and watch. Later that evening, in retaliation for the robbery, several members of 9 Trey, including Denard Butler, drove around Brooklyn looking for Mac. Once they found Mac, another individual shot at Mac several times but missed him. April 21, 2018. On April 21, 2018, the defendant was present with other 9 Trey members when a shooting took place inside the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. The defendant arrived with Hernandez, Jordan, Denard Butler, Genzel Butler, Walter, and Fuquan Lovick, a.k.a. Fubanga, among others. Hernandez was scheduled to sing the entrance song for a boxer who had a match that night. While in the hallway of the Barclays Center, the defendant and other 9 Trey members encountered the entourage of a rival rapper who was a member of a different blood set. During the altercation, Lovick fired a gun in the air over the rival gang members' heads. July 16, 2018. On or about July 16, 2018, Jordan and Hernandez were in Los Angeles when they saw another member of 9 Trey, individual number 2, post on a social media site. Jordan then contacted the defendant, Walter, and others and said, in sum and substance, that they needed to take care of individual number 2. Later that evening, a shooting took place in the area where individual number 2 was staying, and an innocent bystander was struck in the foot. Now it goes into the narcotics distribution, and this is where the cooperating witness is mentioned. It says, during the trial of Mack and Ellison, a cooperating witness who was a major drug supplier to 9 Trey testified that in or about November 2018, the defendant asked the cooperating witness for a kilogram of fentanyl. In addition, that same cooperating witness had a recorded phone call with the defendant in October 2016. During the October 2016 call, the defendant and the cooperating witness discussed having Mac kicked out of 9 Trey because of the significant drug debt that Mac owed the cooperating witness. Now, I gotta say that the more and more I read these, the more this case seems flimsy and kind of fabricated and fluffed up for a full-scale, full-blown RICO case. But maybe that's the reason for what I'm about to say. Let's go ahead to the recommendation and the sentencing date before we get out of here. It says the defendant is scheduled to be sentenced in this matter on October 10th, 2019. That is this Thursday, y'all. The government respectfully submits this letter in connection with sentencing. The parties enter into a plea agreement that calculated a stipulated guideline range of 77 to 96 months imprisonment. The probation department calculates the same guidelines range in the final pre-sentence investigation report dated September 18, 2019, and recommends a sentence of 60 months imprisonment, consistent with the plea agreement, and for the reasons explained below. I'm not going to read the rest of it. That's pretty much the important part. They are recommending a total of 60 months. And for those of y'all that are counting on y'all fingers right now, that's 5 years. 5 years for Roe. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe if you are not a goofy. If you are not a goofy. If you are a goofy, you know the rules. It's the Crown Prince. I'm out, y'all.
On a Friday night at 9 o'clock, hundreds of kids who don't have to be here. You'd think this would be the last place they'd want to be. But here in Newark, they're in here because of what's out there.
Anything that keeps me off the street, I'll do. Like, besides doing anything wrong, like selling drugs and all that stuff. I'm not into that.
If I come here, I will see, like, friendly faces.
Gun violence, like, out there, they fighting, being shot.
Inside the walls of West Side High, every Friday night until 11 p.m., it's a space free of fear. Within these walls, kids can shoot pool, play video games, hit the hardwood, practice cheers, or even lay down track in a recording studio. Within these walls, they can laugh. It's called the Lights On program, now in its 4th year, and it's open to everyone. Nadia Camacho graduated in 2008.
If it was around back then, I think that we wouldn't have lost so many of my classmates. Like if we have a class reunion now, a lot of my classmates wouldn't be there.
I haven't lost any more kids to gun violence since we started doing the school year.
Principal Akbar Cook says you can't ignore the results. If you remember him, that's because last summer, Eyewitness News told you about a free laundry room he installed in school. Students bullied because of dirty clothes, resulting in chronic absenteeism. Principal Cook says there's been a 10% increase in daily attendance since.
I was finding out just from being a principal that the kids don't eat during the weekends.
They also serve hot meals to kids on Friday nights. During the summer, they do this 3 nights a week. It's all made possible by donations from the community and alumni. It's kind of amazing what a school can become when people care about kids who just want a chance.